And I certainly want to say thank you to CC and staff and board members to allow us the opportunity to be here. And I know that CC mentioned that we're a sponsor today. Actually, we're more of a partner. That's how we look at ourselves, as a partner with not only LMR, but chambers all across the state of Ohio. Actually, 128 of them that work directly under us. Of the 315 chambers in the state of Ohio, we actually work with 278 of them on different programs. So with that, there we go. See where I'm at here. When you visit us, that's kind of what you'll see if you're online trying to figure out what is SACA, what do they do, who are these people. But we're, at our core, we're a small employer healthcare alliance. And what does that mean for each of you in the room? Well, it provides the opportunity for you to have direct working relationships with your chamber staff, or somebody like Russ over here with Saxon, that gives you an opportunity to provide health care, especially in a small business environment, okay? It's a 2 to 50 program that we work as far as the number of employees that you carry, and it's really designed to be that resource, that helpful piece when you start looking at your employee benefits. What is the top thing that they're looking for besides pay? Healthcare. And it gives our small businesses that fighting chance. So you'll find stuff like that on our website. This is a little bit more about who we are. You know, again, I mentioned we're a small employer healthcare alliance. We were formed back in '93 by a group of chambers in the Dayton area. But like I mentioned, we've grown to that 129 chamber number. Those chambers that are specifically located or served through our programs. That's primarily South and West Ohio, but we do creep up into Columbus and areas, and then when we start looking at the healthcare programs, that is a statewide program, and that 278 chambers that I mentioned, that is the piece that really makes us statewide. So, why is it important? Why are we relevant in this partnership with your chamber? Well, because we're here to help you be more successful in business. So we're here to help you find ways to help your employees, help your business be successful in that growth. And we are looking at building these relationships that come from insurance brokers or business partners, and of course the chamber industry itself. And then, the little side note that helps your chamber in functions like this and other things that they do throughout the year. Your membership, you pay those dues every year, but they can't survive on membership alone. So they get these other programs with dollars called non-dues revenue to help them service you as the business industry and make you even more vibrant to what you do. Kind of the footprint of who we are, what we do. This is actually what I do in the organization. There's 3 of us. I get to be the guy on the road, so I get to cover the area. So those counties in red is really where I travel to. And then we start adding in the service area for all those chambers that we provide coverage to. It looks a little more like that. And then again, that healthcare piece that I talked about. When we add that piece into that 278 chambers that we work with across the state, it becomes this. We have full coverage across the state, and that just means stronger power for each of our chambers, because it helps to build that network as they grow and help you be more successful. And really, in a nutshell, this is who we are. This partnership that we have with LMR, and that they have this agreement they have with you, allows these programs that you see these logos for to be active and useful pieces when you're doing your day-to-day business, when you're looking at hiring new employees, so the attraction piece, you can build some of these programs into your employee benefit package. And it also is a retention tool, because you're talking about things like healthcare and 401k, and you can go down the list of things. So that's what you'll find in the relationship that we all have together. It's a group thing. We're doing this together, and we're fortunate to have a great chamber going on here. Cece and I go back a long way, and it's great to have relationships that help the betterment of not only the communities but the state. So, all right. So with that, I will turn it back over. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. So you'll hear us mention soccer from time to time as we're doing different events. All right, so we're gonna get started. I kind of feel bad that it's finally sunny outside and now we're all suffering. You can look out the window. I want to also do a quick introduction. We have the president of our board of directors just kind of snuck in. So Kevin Egan, if you want to give us a wave. Anything you want to share, Kev? Surprise! All right, great. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know they have a lot of information to share with everyone, so I'm going to introduce David Kennedy first. David has been the city manager for over 9 years after serving as the village administrator of New Richmond, Ohio for 25 years. His education includes a bachelor's degree in urban planning from Miami University and master's degree community planning from the University of Cincinnati. He was born and raised on the west side. I guess it's okay. Just kidding, Dave. Side of Cincinnati, has been married to Mary Jo for 33 plus years. They have two children, Anna and Jacob. And I just want to add in, you know, he's just been such a blessing to the city. He is a master grant writer and just saved the city, I know, millions of dollars in grant writing. And it's just been great to have him. I think when I met him, he said he was going to come and serve for maybe 2 years and then retire. And what is it, 9 years? So, thanks, David. All right, David, come on up. We're ready to hear from you. Thank you so much.
The big button.
The big button.
Thanks a lot, Cece. So I've actually been in public service for municipal service for 39 years. I was also worked for Delhi Township in all through graduate school back in 1985. So 39 years of service in public, and never thought that I would ever do this. Never thought I would end up in New Richmond for 25 years. I was working for Delhi, as a matter of fact, and Dusty Rhodes was the township trustee. All of you know Dusty Rhodes, and quite a character, actually. And but as dedicated to that township as I've ever seen someone dedicated to a community. And he called me one day and said, New Richmond, Ohio. And I said, where the hell is that? And I said, oh, that's that place that always floods. He goes, just go down there for a couple years, Dave. Just go down there for a couple years. You'll really like it. You'll get to learn a lot. 25 years later, I stayed down there, and I could literally write a book. And I'll tell you what, don't ever go through a flood.
No.
They're dirty, they're messy, and people are pissed. And there's just no easy way to win. And then top of that, we started buying people's houses. It was just a mess. So, yeah, I can't tell you enough. I always see that thing come up, and I think, oh my God.
Loveland is so much better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a mess. So I just wanted to do this org chart, and you know, I always think it's like gimmicky. Oh, Loveland citizens are first. Let me tell you, and I can say that because with Miami and Symmes here, it's really true. It's not a gimmick. In my 39 years, I've really seen life change from we're the government, we know best, you do whatever the hell we want, and we'll do what we want, we don't really care. Oh, how goodness has that changed. It truly is customer service based. It truly is, you know, maybe it's the power of the internet, the fact that you can piss somebody off and they can tell every council member pretty quick, or the fact that you truly realize that you benefit when your residents are buy into what you're doing, and you're never going to get it all. Who would have thunk that you could go to any city's website and hit a button and immediately the city manager gets an email telling you there's a pothole out. I mean, there's a light out, there's a pothole, hey, there's a dead deer. And you know, it's funny because sometimes those come from our neighboring communities and they immediately get sent, and we'll get an email back saying, thank you very much, it was taken care of by Miami, or it's taken care of by Symmes. So we're all into it together, that's how we know. And that is a big part of it. So that is pretty much the standard makeup. Cities are different than townships, and I'll let them explain sort of how that works differently. But this is who I work for. This is our elected officials. Brian Goodyear's just got elected. So again, I'm gonna keep saying 39 years because I'm just gonna rub that in that I've been doing this forever. But I've never worked for a group. I mean, I would think that Steve and Kim would tell you, what do you look for in elected officials? Let us do our job, trust our judgment, and be engaged. And I can say this, I'm not saying this because Neil's here, that's what we got. They're all in. Called every one of them today and said, hey, can we have a real quick special council meeting? Just throw your schedule, whatever you had planned next Tuesday. Just disregard it, because I need you to come into a council meeting for 5 minutes to do a project, and yep, you know, instantly we're done. And that's what these guys are like. Looking forward to working for Brian. Kent Blair did not run again. He was a great gift. Anytime you drive by the Public Works building, you see those solar panels. That was Kent's idea, and he's very proud of it. That's one of the first governmental buildings fully solar powered. Ken was great to work with. So I want to just go through a few quick things on how we were made up. So we have a finance director. This is our city finances, and Mark Medler is wonderful. He's that geeky sort of pocket protector kind of guy who is just a joy to work for, and he is just straight as an arrow. I swear I'll be up here someday watching his retirement after many years with the city. What's the key to what we do? Our income tax. We're not a levy-based area. We run our police department, we run our entire police department off the general fund. We don't live and die on levies. We live and die on our income tax. And if you look at that, that's pretty interesting, because from 2020 to 2021, our income tax jumped $1.8 million. That's pretty significant. And that's a lot of things, because we get our pieces of our pie come from different pieces, right? We have a well-established commerce park. We are very fortunate to have the school district. And and what you're also seeing now, which I think people used to scoff at, and Kevin Egan could vouch for this, is the impact of the downtown. Oh, they're a bunch of high school kids. Well, they're not just high school kids, and there's a hell of a lot of them. And we're starting to see where we're getting that income tax coming in from that too. And I'm going to show you in a little bit what we sort of see as our next frontier. So the income tax is our bread and butter. We give a credit. We've never canceled that credit like a lot of communities have. And that number is very important when you're running, especially when you're running a police department and expanding your police department all on a general fund. So that's pretty important. Police department services, we knew police Mike Chief Gabrielson. It's an interesting thing to talk about our police department, because not only are they extremely young. If you've seen any of our officers, this is about the youngest group of guys you've ever met. But Mike he was exactly what we needed as a police chief. I was very good friends with Sean Ray. Mike is here, I'm sorry. I was very good friends with Mike, with Sean Ray, and he left. And bringing Mike was the perfect fit, because Mike basically gets it. And what you get is the community part of it. And reaching out and being a part of these organizations, having them buy a pizza, and hey, David, you stop up here, and doing all that stuff, he gets it. And he has the ability to do the big picture stuff, because he knew what the next step was bringing in a good assistant chief, Dan. And that's a big part of it. The other thing that both Sean and Chief Gabrielson have is the love for technology. And Steve can probably tell you that too, and how technology can factor into a city's operations. And that's what they do. We have flock cameras in the city. The Mike and Sean together work towards the city getting funding for our first body cameras. We've just recently got a grant from the Office of Criminal Justice for all new radios for our police cars. E-bikes are a big deal, because it's not just the bike trail. So we've just purchased more e-bikes for our police officers, which is really a benefit. Not only for a bike trail community, just the ability to get around. But it's also the other part of it too, is the wellness side of it. I have a son who's a police officer with the city of Lexington, and I get it. He doesn't get it yet, because he's invincible. He doesn't understand, but someday he will. The mental side of it, and what it does to the impacts on the family. And Chief Gabrielson and Hamilton Township Police Department went together to get a wellness grant. And it's a really neat thing. You sort of forget about that side of it, how they can assist family and everything through all of the things that go on in the life of the family life of a police officer, and that's a big part of it. And it sort of went under the radar, but it's important. And it shows respect. It shows how much we care about our officers, but also how much they understand the burdens that comes with being a police officer. And it's a big deal, and I'm really proud to have Mike on board. He's been a great addition. He was just the acting city manager while I was in Vermont. Nothing caught on fire, everything went very well, and he did a wonderful job. So, but
That has happened.
I know.
one of the other things that we're very proud of is our SRO program. For a city our size, we have 4. That's 3 in the Loveland City School District, including one in parochial school. And I can tell you for a fact that they are much more than a cop in a school. I know this is something they take serious. They don't get forced to do it. They elect to do it. And they are a part of these people's lives. I've heard multiple stories that I don't even need to get into, but how they go well and beyond the call of duty to help families, to be with kids during the weekends that are having troubles, and do all the things that they do. It is something, and even the little things. Vicky's role in while we were just causing havoc at the St. Columban School, when we did that gas main thing up there. What a mess. Vicky's out there directing traffic and standing there and arguing with contractors. And if you've ever met Vicky, you know that you would probably do what she said. But, so I can speak equally with Kim on how beneficial we are in terms of the LSFD. You try to explain, I'm interviewing for a couple positions right now, and I say, oh, we got a private fire department. And they all scratch their head. What the hell is that? Well, it is unique, but it works. And it not only works, obviously, Kim and I can tell you, we are fortunate to have one of the finest in the state of Ohio. You name an accreditation, they've got it. It fascinates me how the detail that they go into looking at runs and how they can shave off a second here and shave off a second here. And again, how can technology work? I know Symmes has done it too. We've added the GPS things into all of our traffic signals in the city. And then with the corresponding unit inside the vehicles, they know when the emergency vehicles are coming. If you ever watch it, next time you're at an intersection, watch it. They know which way they're going, they know which way they're turning, they get the green lights there, everyone else gets red lights, and it gets through traffic. What's it shave? It shaves off seconds. It also, fire trucks are expensive, ambulances are expensive. You don't know how many times it's saved an accident at an intersection. And also the community involvement. Next time you're down in town and you're walking down the bike trail and you see that incredible tribute to the Valentine's Ladies program, they paid for it. The Firefighters Association paid for that entire thing out of their association funds as a tribute to that program. And look at it. It looks like every day it's so well kept and so done. And that's how Chief Huber runs his program. Public Works is a big part of what we do. Made a major addition, opened up early in 23 to our campus. I did that for Kent. Fully solar powered structure. As much as we needed offices, we still needed storage, so it's a double base to get as much equipment as we can out of the weather. And we're very full service because while they do the same things that Symmes and Miami Township do as far as repair, taking care of the grounds, dealing with stormwater, dealing with roads, dealing with sidewalks. Our guys, we also operate a water system, so with that comes the water main repairs and all that goes with the joy of running a water system. And of course, they participate in outreaches to the community to sort of explain to them they are. And we've got a great group. We don't lose many. They're often there. That's Rob getting his 25th year certification from council. We make a big deal about everything. We really do. The council meetings, if you've been to a council, I know Cece's been there, first 15 minutes is a nod to the new employee, swearing this guy in, giving this guy a certification for 5 years, this guy for 10 years, this kind of stuff. And it's not hokey, it's really what I know the mayor swears by it. It's a big deal. That's Rob Hayden getting his 25 years certification at a recent council meeting. And that's a great service. We're glad to be down there, and we needed to start taking care of our stuff. And that's a big addition. Anybody ever wants to go in the building, I'm more than happy to show it to you. Economic development, we do pieces of it, okay? So I don't know if you remember, the city recently got a grant for $3 million to clean up a piece of property called the Chestnut site that the city's owned since, God, I think the 60s. And it was a dump, and it had more crap in it. It was an it was an environmental nightmare. And with that, it had one environmental barrier after another. Why aren't you developing Chestnut? Because it's basically on the top 10 list of the EPA. And we couldn't do anything with it. So we messed around with it, but finally the city was able to secure a massive brownfield remediation grant, which was a complete and total cleansing of the property, every aspect of it. And what we were also able to do, one of the other issues that the property had is it didn't have access off of Loveland Madeira Road. So we were able to get a grant to purchase a structure at 501 Loveland Madeira Road and purchase that structure. That opened the door. Now the property is clean, and the property has access directly off of Loveland Madeira Road. And I'm gonna say this is one of, and I need to go back. I'm sorry. I need to go back. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I know I'm going.
No, use the small one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, small one. There you go.
Oh, this one?
No.
This one?
Yeah, that one. You're good. There you go.
I need to do this because I am losing two of the most skilled people I've ever met, I've ever had the joy to work with in 39 years. And one of them is the lady up there to the right, Cindy Poppenstein. I was jumping and I moved. Cindy's our city engineer. She's been with the city for 16 years. Tomorrow's her last day. She is moving on to be the city engineer of Indian Hill. When you see the millions of dollars that the city brings in for the bridge we just closed on East Loveland, what you just saw us do on Harrison, major water main projects, it's all Cindy. That's what she does. She is just an incredible person. She is one of the finest people you'll ever get to meet, and Indian Hill has no idea what they just got. And I will miss her. She is just a very, very wonderful person. And she is moving on, and it is a big, big loss to this city. And I just needed to point that out. Another major loss. I have 39 years. Keep saying that. In my time, I've never worked with a more skilled public administrator in my life than Corey Wright. Corey came in and there was a ball up on a tee and it was handed to him and it was basically, what do you want to do with it? Well, what do you want to do with it? He ran with it, he attacked it with everything you could imagine, and we are better off in the less than 2 years that we had Corey on board, helping me with the purchase of the property, making sure that every remediation is done, administering the grant funding, making sure that the city's local match was in there. We lost Corey to Union Township, but even in that period of time, I can't imagine how he could have done more for this city in that period of time. It is just skilled, just pure skills. What he didn't know, he learned, and it was really a gift. And again, Union Township does know what they got because they got it back. So they know what they got. So a big part of it, so next frontier, so where's that next wave of income tax coming in? We think it's Loveland Madeira Road. I grew up on the west side of town. I can tell you what it's like to live near Coleraine. And nobody wants that, okay? Beachmont, Anderson Township doesn't want Beachmont looking like that. So the city did a downtown streetscape plan, a downtown plan, a Nisbet Park master plan, and then a comprehensive plan. We did all of those specifically because parks, downtowns often get lost in comprehensive plans. So we did all of those, and then we did a master plan. The master plan largely became a Loveland Madeira Road revitalization plan. And what we're working towards is a complete revitalization of Loveland Madeira Road, making it what it could be. And of course, what does the city have? The city, obviously, we own one of the key pieces of property right in the middle of it, Chestnut. So not only are we revitalizing it, we get to put on that economic development hat and work to sell and make that what we hope it to be. It's broken into 3 phases, the systemic phase and phase 1 already funded. So basically what you're looking at is around a $12 million project, of which the city already has close to $8 million in the bank, and we're looking at the middle. The next assistant city manager who comes in, this will be their project. This will be Corey's Chestnut, and they will get to run with this, and you will begin to see a complete and total transformation of Loveland Madeira Road and the compounding impact on the economic development in that area. And this with roundabouts, streetscapes, all of this completely done. It is a big step for the city, and this hopefully will be that next cog into God darn it. The next cog into that part of what we want to see the city to be. And what is the underlying effect is there? That connection of Loveland Madeira Road into the downtown district. You're always looking for opportunities of where you can get people without their cars. And we are working separately on a connection on West Loveland. I think what you're going to see is you're going to start to see some of the streetscape and the furniture and all the amenities that you see in the downtown district over the bridge starting to work their way up West Loveland. Because in my now almost 9 years with the city, you've seen it. I know Cece can tell you that was pretty much a scattering of commercial and largely residential unit. It is now completely the opposite. There's only a few residential units, and it has its own little identity. And you can see what we've already done with the nice streets, traffic signals, and so on. We are currently working with Duke to run all new street lights all the way up that district. So that is, keep an eye on that, but this is a wonderful project that is already partially funded, largely funded.
You know when
So,
it's supposed to start?
26. Yeah. So downtown Loveland is always, back in the old days, remember they used to call Sears the anchor to the mall, back when malls were a thing and Sears existed. But our downtown is sort of our anchor to the mall. And if you watch what's going on, and it's one of the best places to go to work every day, you're seeing the more variety. We got Teak in 2023. I know they're doing wonderful. But we're also seeing different types of amenities, people that are sort of triggering into more that bike trail traffic. And that mix is important. I mean, the restaurants and the hospitalities are the bread and butter, but the right mix of retail, the right mix of residential, which is going to keep spattering in there, is all part of what makes this mix. And of course, ODNR Bike Trail Bridge will be reopening on May 20th. And I don't think this is much more than a bridge. And by the way, right before that closed, they called me and they said, hey, you got a steel plate? And I go, yeah. They go, there's a hole in the bridge, you can see the river. Oh. So if you did wonder whether or not they really needed to replace that, they really did. We just quietly shoved a big steel plate over the hole. But you were looking down and there's the water. So it really did need to be replaced, and I really appreciate Gene Smith's assistance and getting that pushed out, because this has been the perfect time for this to be complete. It really has been, and it's been a real benefit. I really appreciate all Gene did to do that, because that really took a big headache away from a lot of people. So infill. So I didn't even know what the word meant really a while ago, but I do now, because what you're having with the city, I think it's likely that I will never see another subdivision in the city. That's just the way it is. But what you're seeing now is properties, parcels, largely parcels that are within walking distance of the downtown district getting gobbled up. And they're getting gobbled up with high-end row homes, townhomes. This was just approved last evening by the Board of Zoning Appeals. This is on South 2nd. This has been approved up on Oak Street. And that's what we're getting. It's infill, where they're grabbing these little spots that they can, that were otherwise not even notable, and now are being grabbed for these. These units will be $750,000 a piece. That's right up from the Dairy Whip on West Loveland. And he asked the Board of Zoning Appeals, asked him last night, why this site? And he said, because the property owners can walk downtown. He wasn't doing that for anybody's benefit, but because it's the truth. So that's the sign of, obviously, the sign of things to come. So I just want to go real quick through some sort of the projects we have. This is our baby that we got coming, our downtown district. We're building a new fire station just up the street on West Loveland. This new station will replace the existing station 63. Existing station 63 is in impeccable condition, but it's got one issue after another. The way things work, once you touch it, all those issues come back in. Everything's ever been grandfathered. Rather than put in elevators, widen doors, and do all the things that we did, it was better to do this, sell the existing station. This new station is very unique. If you know where this site is going, it's one of the few parcels, and it's the reason why the city bought it. It fronts two streets. So that whole process of backing in fire trucks is eliminated, because O'Bannon is behind there, and these are all pull-through bays. And it's a beautiful, beautiful station. It'll actually, the one highlight, the only fluff in the whole thing is the window that will showcase the original steam fire engine that has been meticulously kept. This should be under construction, but we're utilizing USDA funding, and with the federal budget, until the budget's approved, this project is just in nowhere's land. Matter of fact, the people I'm working with aren't even in their office. But it's a beautiful, beautiful project, and will result in we'll resell or lease the existing fire station for, we'll see. I don't really know what it'll be, but it's in great shape. So the other project is, the city's been working on it since 2019, since we first bought the property, all the parcels behind the rail car and the works, that mountain back there, and we are now ready to go. We've got our bids. We went from a parking garage to a parking lot. I will tell you that the final bid for the project was $1,253,000, and we have $1,100,000 $150,000 in grant money. So this whole project will cost the city only $116,000. That includes all the landscaping, all the consolidation of the dumpsters. If you've seen what we just did on Harrison, you get it now, how this will be a direct line into the parking lot. This project is completely ready to go. It's just move the mountain and put it in. And this project will actually get approved by City Council next Tuesday. The Indiana bats come back March 31st, so you gotta get all the trees down. So why are you rushing it? Because the bats are coming back and the trees have to be down before the bats.
I didn't know there were
They're
bats.
protected.
They're protected. So if next time you're at City Hall,
I'm learning so much.
there's a corresponding project we're doing with the realigning of all the parking around City Hall. We're running sidewalks from the barber shop to the new intersection in Harrison. So all roads will lead to one intersection. There won't be all that sort of willy-nilly coming in, where it'll be safer. There will now be sidewalks. You've been there before. You see people just walking down the middle of the railroad. That'll all be corrected. That's a corresponding project that the city is doing also. Nisbet Park, I'd mentioned to you that we did a Nisbet Park master plan. We've been implementing it piece by piece by piece. Completed the gazebo, completed seating area number 1. If you've been there recently, we just got grant funding to do seating area number 2. We're just waiting for the tables to install. We're working towards an amphitheater, the connection of the trail, access down to the river. We're doing it all piece by piece, utilizing Claremont County Park funding, ODNR NatureWorks funding, and of all things, Hamilton County Board of Health funding, because they still have COVID money, that if you can say you're supporting outdoor dining, there's money for it. So we've been able to, it's not even Hamilton County, but they don't necessarily need to know that. It's not even, but, a big thing that we're doing that came out of our comprehensive plan is connectivity of our neighborhoods. Give us sidewalks. We want to connect to our neighbors, but we also, if those same sidewalks can connect downtown, Loveland Miamiville Road Phase 1 was done last year. Phase 2 is getting ready to go out to bid in February. We'll get up to Miami Township with Phase 3, and then Miami Township can take it from there. Jeff knows, and I'm sure Steve will know that we're heading that way. So we'll be connecting even the township residents, Miami Township residents, into the downtown district. We're also working on sidewalks up State Route 48 into our Warren County subdivisions, and a connector from the Heights towards the Loveland High School on Osage. Cherokee Water Main Project, the city has invested heavily in the Heights. What are the Heights? So the Heights is, I remember when I got interviewed and we all got to go for a tour back in 2014, the guy that drove me around, he goes, this is the Heights. It's either going to go one of two ways. And the one way is not good. It's highly rental. The city of Loveland sold the properties that it owned in there, roughly sold two relatively good sized parcels of land, took every penny of that money and put it in a grant program. And we have done 58 residential owner occupied structures where we've matched up to $2,000 to replace windows, do roofs, do sidewalks, do gutter siding, and we've invested in it. We're earmarking every year portions of our road program to put up in there. Thanks to Greg Landsman, thanks to the Ohio Public Works Commission, Skip, Cindy, we're getting ready to do a $2.1 million water main replacement project in there that is costing the city a very, very small amount, basically the cost of the engineering. So this is a big investment in the Heights. A big investment in public safety, because the fire flow up there would not be considered ideal. We're creating loops. We're getting people into positions where the entire darn community isn't out when there's a water break, because you can valve off and isolate. This is a big, big project and a big investment in the Loveland Heights by the city, and long coming, largest that I think in decades that we've ever done on our water system improvement. And of the $2.1 million, the city's share is very, very minimal. And that is a big thing. We've largely ignored our water main replacements and largely just kept taking debt and onward. And we came up with an idea of putting on a surcharge on our residents' bills of $7.50, and that money will not be used for anything but water main replacements. That money is going to count for the city's share on this. We're not having to take any debt for the first time that I can ever remember that the city can do a water project without taking on debt. We can start to see the debt go down, and rather than us continually investing every year paying off debt service. So this is a big, big project. It's not very sexy, it's not very flashy, but it's part of what we have to deal with, and it's part of what we're committed to keeping our water system. So Riverside Drives, I just do this because y'all drive it and you're like, when are they ever gonna fix it? And why did you fix it? And it just crumbled right back into the river. Because otherwise you just drive off the road. So we hitched our wagon with the Army Corps of Engineers. We've been working with them for a while. We are rounding third, 2026, you should start seeing major, the road will probably be shut down. Major. When we hitched our wagon to the Army Corps of Engineers, we knew one thing, it was gonna take a while. But the funding that they have available, if we play the game and walk with them, that is going to be a major thing. And that's a big part of what we all have to do. We have to look forward to. We weren't going to be able to pay for major stabilization of a roadway like this without funding, outside funding. So this is a big project that you'll see coming, and hopefully you'll see Riverside Drive finally get stabilized. I just needed to throw this picture into somewhere that didn't fit into anything. So I just like, where do you insert a picture? Cece knows this. This is Pat Furter. She's the queen of the Valentine's Ladies program, and she is just the sweetest thing. And I had this picture, when I was doing my PowerPoint. I said, "Where do you throw it in?" So I just threw it. The city named a portion of the roadway after Pat. Pat is the guiding force of what is Loveland Stage, and without a doubt, the sweetest lady you ever met. She was just nominated in 23. She was the Claremont State of Ohio Senior Citizen of the Year. The city made her our Citizen of the Year and named a street after her. She's so funny. She called me the next morning. She said, "Hey, I'll be right down to give you that sign." I go, "Pat, you got your own. We've already put those up." She said, "I get to keep this one?" I said, "Yep, Pat, you get to keep that one." She thought she had to come back the next morning to give us our sign. For those of you who know Pat, she is beyond. So thank you very much. I hope I didn't take too long. So
Thank you so much,
Yep,
David.
sure.
Good job. So fun hearing from you. Next we have Kim Lopez of Symmes Township. Kim is the Township Administrator for Symmes and has been since 2017. Fast. Prior to that, she worked for Butler Township and Liberty Township as their administrator, the City of Madeira and Fairfield Township as the assistant to the city manager and administrator in various counties in the Planning and Zoning Department as a planner, grant coordinator, senior planner, development director, and regional planning director. Kim has over 32 years of local government experience. She's currently on the board of directors for the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. And she has like a standing seat. So I don't know if she likes it. She's been on there forever, since 2017. So thank you for that, especially Kim. We appreciate all she does. She's our secretary and does a phenomenal job. So for the last 5 years in his newly elected official in Madison Township, I didn't know this, it's amazing. Butler County as their fiscal officer. Kim has been married to Ben LaPensi for over 24 years. They have 2 children, Megan and Cooper. Kim holds a bachelor's degree in urban planning from the University of Cincinnati. And come on up, Kim, tell us what's going on in Symmes Township, please.
It's the big one.
The big one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Middle.
All right. So welcome, everybody.
Thank
My
you.
name is Kim, Symmes Township. So I'll go through our slides really quickly with you. So Symmes, this is a joke. When I first started interviewing for this position, one of my trustees pointed out that Symmes Township, a lot of people just don't know where Symmes Township is, don't realize they're in Symmes Township. Everybody thinks it's Loveland. So we look like a T-bone steak and we're missing the fillet. So I always thought that was the funniest thing. And then of course we've got Camp Dennison. That is the only really good way to get there is you have to go into Miami Township, cross the river, and then you have to cross back into Symmes Township. So that little piece down there at the bottom, that's Camp Dennison. So our form of government is very different from the cities. We are a statutory form of government. We have 3 elected trustees, and those are my board members that I serve, and we have an elected fiscal officer. So here's a couple more pictures. This is how we're set up. It's basically just the residents, the trustees, me, and then all the departments are underneath me. So townships, unlike cities, we get our money in a totally different way than cities do. Cities have the income tax. We have what's called fund accounting. So townships' only form of money that we get in is through property taxes and levies. So, and unfortunately, When you vote on a levy, it goes straight into that piece of the pie. So those are all the different funds that we have, and they're very separate. You cannot mix them. The general fund is the only fund that can be mixed with all the other ones, but the special revenue funds can never be mixed with anything else. So when you vote on a levy, know that your money is only going towards that item. Under contracted services, we contract with the sheriff's office for our police department. We have the Loveland Symmes Fire Department for our fire service, just like Dave had spoken about earlier. And then we also hire out all of our planning and zoning services to Hamilton County Planning. Under safety services, just a general slide for like, here's how our runs for services go. As Dave said earlier, we have the Opticon system that's along all of our major roadways that are called preemption devices that help the fire trucks get to and from everywhere. We're purchasing new equipment, and we are looking at thermal imaging cameras, replacing them. Under the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, this is the runs for service. We purchase flock cameras along with the city of Loveland and all of our other neighbors that have done so that we're all kind of linked, and we did it so that we could help the police, do a better job of investigation when thefts occur. Under planning and development, in our township, we have roughly 5,900 housing units. Our median household income is around $140,000 a year. Our median home value is around $450,000 a year. The majority of all our homes were built in the 80s, and our median age is about 40 years old. Under road department improvements for 2023, this is just a list of roads that we paved. I'm in Symmes. So Symmes Township, unlike Butler Township also, when we go in to pave, we tend to pave an entire subdivision all at one time. So we'll do multiple subdivisions at one time so that we're just not picking and choosing which roadways inside the township get paved. It's usually we go in, knock the whole subdivision out, and move on to the next subdivision. Under road department improvements, we installed a lot of flashing stop signs and solar speed signs. We replaced our large dump truck, and then just some of the other stuff that we've done. Symmes Township is very different from the city, where we don't have big public works projects like water lines because townships do not have their own utility systems. Utility systems are something specifically in the revised code that are city things, but townships, we deal with all the road stuff. In Hamilton County, Symmes Township is only responsible for subdivision streets. So anytime you're driving on a main street, that is all the Hamilton County Engineer's Office. And then if you're on 22 and 3, which is Montgomery Road, that's ODOT. Under park department improvements, we did a lot of park improvements this year. So our biggest one, and this is our sexy project, Dave, our big playground right there at Seven Gables Park that we did. So our trustees decided, we have a lot of playgrounds that we have to replace. So that was one of our bigger projects that we did for the year. Some other little things, we painted restrooms, we replaced our camera systems, we regraded ball fields, took care of tennis courts, basketball courts, things like that. This is a couple of our new businesses. I think I talked about these last year. They're still kind of trying to get off the ground. We haven't seen anything yet with the Snyder Road Townhomes. The Governor's Hill Apartments, those are probably going to start here this year. Performance Honda already did theirs. We still haven't seen anything out of McCluskey Chevrolet. Silver Spring House expanded their parking lot. Tire Discounters, I believe, just rebuilt their building, and so did Burger King. They remodeled. A couple of our new businesses for 2023. This is a big thing we did last year. We invested a lot of money in and we got a new website. So we kind of got with the times, like with all the cities, and we're doing the same website that the cities typically do. So now this is our new look on our city or our township website, and you'll be able to go and click directly on the buttons and do all the things that Dave talked about how you can just go to the website, click a button, and put in there, yep, I have a pothole, yep, the street light's out, all the same things that the city's doing. This is our big thing for 2024. So these are big, sexy events, so I expect everybody to come. But this is our bicentennial year. So for us, we turned 200, I think it was in this past month in January. but we were created by the state legislature in 1824. We used to be part of Sycamore Township, and we were split off, and Symmes was created. So here's a list of our events for 2024 that we will be doing. It's about an event a month, so yay for me. But so we start off with an egg hunt, and then we have a fishing tournament, we have a park dedication, we have a Symmes Honors Veterans around Memorial Day, we have our American Heritage Day in Camp Dennison. That's going to be the real history part of it. We have our Bicentennial Blast, which is going to be our biggest event of the year, so it's going to be in July. We have a Harvest Festival that's going to be in August, an ice cream social in September. We normally do Fall for Symmes. We have a 5K run this year, and then we always do Operation Santa. So we would appreciate, y'all give us a shout. Even if you live in Loveland, it'll be great for the kid. A lot of kids-oriented events. Under park improvements for 2024, so we're going to continue to expand our natural prairie and wetland areas within our parks. We do plan to install a new playground structure at Symmes Park, our shady structure, which I did get a grant for. I also did get a grant for the Seven Gables structure that we put together, but unlike Dave, who gets really lucky with grants, Hamilton County is not a nice place to play if you're trying to get a grant, because there's 49 jurisdictions in Hamilton County. So Symmes Township, unfortunately, always ends up at the bottom because obviously our median income is, up there, and they take that into consideration. So we're also doing a pond restoration at Symmes. We have some Camp Dennison landscaping improvements that we're going to work on. We have tennis and basketball court improvements at Seven Gables, and then we're doing some more pond maintenance at Seven Gables. Road improvements for 2024. We're going to start engineering for sidewalks on Hopewell Road, from the bridge to Hopewell Hills, and Kemper Road sidewalks from Mariners Cove to Pemmican Run. We did get an ODOT grant for the Kemper Road sidewalks, so they won't be installed until 2027, but it's going to be sidewalks on the north side of Kemper Road, right there from Mariners Cove. It's kind of like near Silver Spring House, all the way down, crossing Montgomery Road, all the way to Pemmican, which is kind of across from Kroger. But that's an ODOT funded project. It was a 90-10 split, so we got lucky. We got 10%. It was a safety grant that we got through ODOT. The sidewalks on Hopewell. So Hopewell Bridge is going to be replaced over 275 this year. The bid goes out this month. Construction's going to start in June, and it'll go through December. So anybody that travels over the Hopewell Bridge, thankfully it will be open, but it's going to be down to one lane. So pipe repairs and outlet replacement on Terwilliger's Ridge Court. We have a very large project that we're going to have to do there, because unfortunately the way the property is situated, it kind of drops off, and we have this 15-inch pipe, and we have like a head wall, and the head walls come detached from the pipe, and it's falling down the hillside. So it's probably going to cost us more in bringing in a crane and everything else to do the project, so it might take us a while to do that one. We also have a storm outlet pipe addition on Timberlake Drive, and another one at Cross Street at Main. We'll be paving 3 miles of roadway again, which added catch basins and doing sidewalk repairs. I think the subdivisions this year, it's gonna be Heartland, which is everything's near Kemper, so Heartland, and then the area all behind Silver Spring House, so like Kemper Woods and that area. This year is also a huge project on Fields Erdel Road. So we will be installing sidewalks on Fields Erdel, actually going up Mesa Montgomery. So from Chapel Square all the way up to Fields Erdel, and then from Fields Erdel all the way down to Montgomery Road. The township received right about $450,000 grant from SORTA, because it's a bus route. So we were able to get funds for that project, and that will start this year. And then Warren County will be doing a major road improvement on Fields Erdel. So again, I apologize if you're going to be driving on Fields Erdel. It's going to be crazy. So Fields Erdel is going to be going from a 2-lane roadway to a 5-lane roadway between Snyder Road and Wilkins Boulevard. Now it'll be awesome when it's done, but it will definitely try your patience as you're driving down Fields Erdel, so I would recommend kind of maybe taking a detour. But for anyone that might live in Deerfield Township, they're actually gonna, I think it's going to be where they're gonna force you to go out to Wilkins or Escort. I'm sorry, they're gonna force you to go out to Escort, and then you won't be able to turn left anymore onto Fields Erdel from Wilkins Boulevard. So if you live in Deerfield, heads up. Other things we're working on, we might actually replace our administration building. I know, I gotta say it out loud because I need to make sure that it ever happens. But we're working on design work for a new administration building. We're thinking about tearing down our old service department building, tearing down the old administration building. Some of those buildings were built in the 50s. So we used to, like our building that we're in, we were an old cemetery sexton's house. So the house has been converted multiple times and it just doesn't meet our needs. So anyway, we're looking at replacing that building and trying to figure out how we can put it on the lot and build a new maintenance building at the same time because we don't have enough room for all our equipment. We're also going to be doing some more beautification on Montgomery Road. We started with some medians last year. We planted new landscaping along the medians, and we're going to be looking at doing that in Camp Dennison as well on 126. And of course, we have our bicentennial events.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Kim. All right, now we're gonna bring up, where's Steve, is he? Oh, he's in there. Okay. And where am I? Our next leader is Steve Kelly. He is the fire chief for Miami Township and a 28-year veteran of the fire service. Steve serves on the executive board for the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association and chairs their policy committee, which works to develop legislation related to public safety services across the state of Ohio. Steve also currently serves as the interim township administrator for Miami Township, doing a great job, a role that provides new experiences and education daily and a lot of management. In his spare time, he enjoys serving on the board and coaching for the Mason Challenger Baseball League, where his daughter has played baseball for the past 8 seasons, and helping manage his son's hockey team with the Cincinnati Swords. He also serves as an adjunct professor for University of Cincinnati Bearcats in the fire science program and enjoys helping to develop the next generation of fire service professionals. All of this is made possible through the love and support of his family and friends. Please welcome Steve Kelly.
Here's the magic clicker. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am going to tell you a story, okay? Because I like long, drawn-out stories, and I'm sure you all do in a warm room right after lunch for the last speaker of the day before you got to go do whatever you need to do. So I'm going to tell you a lot about me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about me. I'm going to tell you a lot of cool things that are going on in Miami Township. And obviously, we're going through a state of transition right now. If the fire chief is standing up here delivering the presentation after you've heard from 2 other officials that are much more tenured than I am, much more developed and well experienced than I am in this profession, I'm going to do my best to keep this relatively brief, but tell you a lot of the cool things that are going on. So I'm an interactive kind of guy in my presentations. I believe in that kind of like, throw something out, get something back, give something back after that as well. So I want a little bit of interaction from you guys. Now, there's part of the room that can't participate because they know too many things about what I'm doing in my presentation. Is there anybody that can identify some of our elected officials for me? Yes, sir.
Brian Eula for Ella.
Okay. Brian Ella. Great. You still get a water bottle. Excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Brian is not up there. I apologize. Brian was supposed to be here with us.
Oh.
Who?
Ken Tracy.
Ken Tracy. Okay. Mr. Broadwater gets the water bottle. I apologize. I teased you on that one. Who else has another one up there?
Very well.
Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating.
I'm not allowed-
I'm gonna give you a Miami Township
didn't know
shirt
there were
anyway. Okay? So real quick, and there's more to come on that. Don't worry, I got tons of games and prizes. So Mr. Schulte, Mr. Tracy, Mary Makeley Wolf, and Mr. Ferry are our elected officials that we work for. And then with me today, in about 2 rows towards the back of the room, lined up just like they're in the back of church, ready to get the heck out of here as soon as they can, are the leadership team for Miami Township. So I can't do what I'm doing right now without their support, without their unwavering dedication to the residents and the businesses and everybody that either lives in and calls Miami Township home or is passing through for whatever reason. So you'll see a lot of these familiar faces if you look over to this side of the room, probably towards the back of the room. But Mr. Kennedy did a great job of mentioning that kind of pyramid. Ours is kind of similar. Theirs was sideways. We believe in that kind of, top-down leadership as far as we're at the bottom of that pyramid, serving our community. So the executives, the elected officials, the department heads, you'll see towards the top here, I made it really small just so it wasn't a distraction. But what you'll see is that our residents are on the top, our customers, our businesses. Those are the folks that we serve every day. We're predominantly bedroom community, so we have a lot of levies that we rely on, and that means that the taxpayers, when they go home at night and put their head on their pillow, are the ones that are writing the check for us to do our services. So that is never outside of our mind as we are trying to be premier in what we're doing for our community. So a little bit about Miami Township, another chance to win some prizes. Who can give me the square miles that we cover? Does anybody know how big Township is? Anybody? Take a guess.
1.
Well, I heard what? 30? Who said 30 something? 34?
I'm not allowed to say it, now she.
That's okay. That's okay.
Look at her knowing exactly the amount.
And I want you to have some Miami Township swag. One of our best supporters out there. Okay, who can tell me how many, and this is kind of up here already, who can tell me how many other communities border Miami Township?
1, 2, 3, 4.
7. There's a coffee mug for you, sir. Thank you very much, okay? We have 5 parks in the township, and the reason I show you this is because the other presenters today have done a fantastic job of mentioning this. We all work seamlessly together. You don't know where the boundaries are by design. We don't want you to know where the boundaries are because we just want to serve you. So we work across, I work for the fire department, right? My cohorts in the police department are here, Chief Mills is with me today. We all answer calls wherever we need to answer calls, and we go across those jurisdictional boundaries as needed to make sure that people are accounted for. Okay, so don't ever think where your business is located, where you live. If you're in our area, we have seamless agreements to work with one another. So here's a little bit of information about us. 33.5 square miles, 44,000 residents, 158 miles of roads. Mr. Musselman and his crew and Mr. Birdsall and Mrs. Hampton, they do a fantastic job in our service department of making sure that when you drive up and down the streets of Miami Township, even a few weeks ago when it was nasty, snowy, and kind of gross there for a little while, that those things are ready for you to be able to travel safely. Oh, sorry, that popped up there twice. Some other demographic data, our median household income compared to Claremont County, and our home values compared to Claremont County as well. Those things just seem to keep trending up, right? And again, we're trying to be very responsive and very responsible with those tax dollars that we're being entrusted with to manage the services that we're providing to our community. Okay, does anybody, for our business community folks, can somebody give me 1 or 2 or a couple of the top 5 privately owned businesses that are headquartered in Miami Township?
Wings and rings?
Which one?
Wings and rings?
Wings and Rings is one.
Oh, privately owned, good job.
Okay, privately owned, that's key. What else? Oasis is not. That's a good guess though.
Thank you.
Cold Jet is one.
That's,
What's
oh,
that?
that's right, they just,
Penn Station is one.
mm-hmm, yeah, it's there.
Thank you. Anybody have any other guesses?
Shell.
What's that?
Shell.
Shell? Shell is not. Sorry. That's another good guess though. Anybody else? All right, there's the list. Okay, hard to believe, right?
Oh my gosh.
Penn Station restaurants. Has anybody been down there off of Route 50?
I knew
US
it.
50? You wouldn't know it if you
Amen,
drove
Lord.
past it. But if you like Penn Station, which I believe is right across the street from this driveway, when you go out today and you look at that, the world headquarters for that is in Miami Township, not far from Station 28 down there on Route 50 in Wolfton Pleasant.
World headquarters.
So
Yeah.
just a little interesting tidbits about
WHQ.
some of the folks that
That's
we're
crazy.
hosting in Miami Township. Some of our subdivisions, our zoning permits, again, I said Mr. Ellis was previously identified, I apologize for that. He is not able to join us today, but here's some demographic data. You see the number of permits that he's issuing out of his department, and the total investment value in the township just continues to rise, right? The permits are down just a little bit from last year, from 22 to 23, but I can tell you they're on the rise again, they're going back up.
people are continually building new things in Miami Township. And as I mentioned, we're a predominantly residential backbone to our community, but we're getting a lot of really high-end development in there. Most of those, almost 80%, are exceeding $500,000 in value. Other current developments. How many of you travel along State Route 28? Excuse me. Have you seen the new Loveland Drive investment that's going in down there? That's where our new Aldi's going to be, in this outlet right here. We have it on good authority right now, maybe a new drive-through coffee shop. We're trying to work on that. But Loveland Drive is going to be installed on State Route 28, and we'll connect. This is the Christ Hospital office building. Some of you may have seen one of the physicians in there for something. It's not an urgent care or anything like that. It's truly professional office services. So Loveland Drive will tap out, and right here is Kohl's. So you'll be able to go back in there and do some great shopping at Aldi. If you're like me, you wander into Aldi and it's kind of like mini Costco. You think you're gonna go in and get like maybe $10 worth of stuff and you walk out with about 50. So Aldi's a great new development to our community. The Al Gore subdivision that's back here, some older residential homes that are back here, will eventually tie in and provide them with a much safer exit onto 28. Other current developments are Mulberry Kroger is turning into a Mulberry Square Marketplace. So it's going to be a new, about doubles in size here shortly. And I know Chief Stefano is working on those plans with them and has been intimately involved with their leadership on trying to make sure that that's being done safely as they're developing that. That's about an $8.5 million project. Tri-Ridge Boulevard, up there, the former International Paper Company. They're looking at putting in some new townhomes, about 49 townhomes up there, about an $11 million project. And then for those of you that travel along Ward's Corner Road, you may have seen what looks like an apartment complex going up there. That is the new Field Chase Senior Living Apartments, marketed to folks that are 55 and older. It is not assisted living, it's independent living, but that's about a $12 million project with about 120 units coming in, very affordable. But it's a wonderful development. The folks up there, you may have seen down in Union Township, they have a similar development down there as well. But as many of you know, folks that are in our community that are 55 and over want to stay in our communities. They don't want to leave, and if they have to leave their home, they still want to be close to everything that they're used to interacting with. Other current developments, Milford Middle School is being rebuilt. For those of you that are on social media and you follow the Milford Miami Township page on Facebook, and I know Chief Mills and I deal with those interactions quite frequently, you may be wondering what Mount Milford is or Mount Miami Township is as you drive down Wolf Pen Pleasant Hill Road. As you see that giant pile of dirt that is right there as they're working on grading and regrading for the new field house, the new football stadium, and the new middle school as well. So a fantastic opportunity for one of our local schools to expand and develop and facilitate more updated services for the students as well. That represents almost a $68 million project. A lot of that is offset by grant money that they have from the state of Ohio. So fantastic to work with them on that. And newly minted, if Mr. Elliff was here, he'd be able to kind of fill us in a little bit more on this as well. There's a new Hills development at Cinema Drive and Montclair Boulevard. Looking at putting in 6 high-end apartment units down there, about $35 million being invested in that area, that part of the corridor just off of Business 28, State Route 28, and 275 to the tune of about 335 units. And for those of you that are familiar with the Hills developments, they retain ownership of those. They do a fantastic job of owning them, managing them, and really putting a lot of development into those properties so that they're servicing the residents, not just kind of as a pass-through type feel. We're excited to see that come through as well. Rise Commercial Development out of Indiana, who is, they call themselves a small business accelerator. The term incubator is not that exciting anymore, so now they're accelerators, get them up and going a little bit faster. Is looking at investing about a $20 million project at the bottom of Wolf Pen Pleasant Hill, where it dumps into US 50. So Henkel Schuler owns a piece of property down there. It has for many years now, and has been through multiple iterations of what could be developed. And this just passed through our zoning commission the other night, looking at putting in a new public roadway that would be in there, as well as the opportunity to build out about 17 units for this kind of small business accelerator development, where folks that might currently have something in their home or in a very small office space can kind of get to that next level up and really start launching off and seeing some success with hiring additional folks as well. So that's a little bit about Rise as well. Our departments are just busy as busy can be, but always want to go back to focusing on what they can do for the community. So I'm not going to read all this information to you. Since almost all of our departments are represented here today, I would encourage any and all of you, if you got a few minutes to hang out afterwards, to ask a lot of questions of any of us. Whether from Symmes, Loveland, Miami Township, we are more than happy to tell you about the things that we're doing and the really fun stuff that we've got planned for 2024 and beyond. As Kim had mentioned, they've got a lot of things going on for their bicentennial. Mr. Himes, who's our new recreation director, is with us today, and he's got some pretty cool events coming up. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary of Miami Meadows Park this year, and thank you to Representative Schmidt for all of her hard work on getting our parks established in Miami Township, and we want to celebrate those and remind the community.
How much do we pay for that park?
$1?
$1.
$1, that's right, $1. Fantastic story, and if you haven't had the chance to get to Miami Meadows Park, out 131 as you're heading east, please visit the park. There's a lot of amenities there, great playgrounds, dog park there, great walking trails, big lake for fishing, all kinds of stuff to be able to do out there. But Mr. Himes is working on some pretty cool stuff. This Turn Back the Township event, Ryan, you want to just tell us about that real quick? Just tell us what you got going on for that?
Sure.
I put him on the spot.
Here, I am part of the Reds Hall of Fame vintage baseball team, Red Stockings, and we go around and kind of educate the community about, you know, the history of Red Stockings baseball, and we play 1869 rules, no gloves. So I'm actually working with the Reds Hall of Fame. We're gonna do a Friday night free kind of like history of the Reds lecture at Miami Township Civic Center. Followed then on Saturday with a game where we hope to play joint police and fire department in 1869 rules. And following Bronson Roy will be performing.
All right.
So,
Does he sing?
kind of timing in that Cincinnati Reds style.
Now you know why I wanted him to tell you, right? I can't do it justice. He's got a lot of really cool things planned, and that's a really neat event. Fire and EMS, we're out there working with our community partners as well in the service department and police as well to do things like, even this is one of those ones that goes across jurisdictional boundaries, the Citizens Police Academy, right? So we have a night where we do fire night. We bring air care in, we let them cut up cars down in Soares parking lot, and that's Loveland, Milford, Miami Township, police and fire departments that put that together for the residents that are going through that. If you're interested in the Citizens Police Academy for where you live or work, please just reach out to one of the departments and we'll get you more information on that. The graph that I show you over here, you know, we talk about finance and HR and what's going on in that right now. Our fiscal picture is very good, very clear. You can see that's our debt service going down over time. As Mr. Kennedy mentioned before, the goal of any community is not to put more weight on the back of the tax-paying citizens. So we're very fiscally responsible in how we're managing not only the purchases that we're making, but the debt that we incur and the amount of money that we're trying to make sure drives our debt down every single year. So our tax increment financing districts and residential districts are performing very well and helping us to do a lot of the public projects that we're doing right now, like the Loveland Drive project that you saw before. And then we're also using a lot of new adaptive hiring processes. Mrs. Emily Asher is our new HR director within the last few years. She's really helped us streamline a lot of the things that we're doing to make sure that we're being responsible in our hiring practices and being fiscally responsible and not wasting a lot of time, because we all know, as we're trying to hire people, right? Limited workforce to get through. You want to get those folks through and onboarded as quickly as possible so you don't lose them to somebody else. I know we all share a very similar pool and a lot of public safety professionals as well. Our community partnerships and our programs, a lot of what you see up here involves every single department that's represented today. Our service department does some fantastic work. That float that you see there for our holiday parade that goes down 28, Mrs. Valerie Haney is hugely responsible for the decorations that you see in our Miami Township Civic Center, as well as some of the float decorations and things in our holiday parade. This just represents a lot of the talent that goes into making sure that our community feels cared for and has the ability to interact with us at any time of the day or night. We recently, over the holiday season, you see the photo of the police officers and firefighters here, took, was it 150 kids, Chief Mills? Shopping at Meyer for the Shop with a Cop event every year that we do, and that just continues to grow as we have an opportunity through donations from many of your businesses and many of you as private citizens into those types of programs for us. This is Chester. Chester's our garden gnome at the community garden over at the Civic Center. So if you want, you can see Mr. Himes. They're taking reservations now for plots at the community garden as we get in towards the spring. And we're having a nice, bright, sunny day out there, so we want to think about spring. We want to think about things growing. Those are real tomatoes that Chester grows. And why do I tell you about Chester? Because he's one of our retired firefighters, and we all love him. So he is a garden gnome out there. Generally, he's out there working day and night, trying to grow fresh vegetables that you'll see pop up throughout the community at different events and in different parts of the community as well. He shares with the senior center and everything. So fantastic ambassador for our community. And we're doing a lot over here at pickleball. How many people are into pickleball right now? Huge, right? Absolutely huge. Representative Schmidt is helping us work through a grant right now to put in for some improvements at Riverview Park on Branch Hill Loveland Road to be able to put in some new pickleball courts and help us upgrade some of the existing facilities that we have, turning over some of those old traditional tennis courts that we have into pickleball courts. And I say that and I see a quick twitch in Mr. Musselman and Mr. Hines' eyes. I mentioned pickleball. As you know, many of it can be a blessing and a curse as well. It's just you can't have enough pickleball facilities right now for everybody that wants to play. How do we connect with our residents? As Kim had mentioned before, Ms. Lepensi had mentioned before, we have a wide variety of ways that we want you to interact with us. So our website, Mr. Will Menz is in the back of the room, does a fantastic job of managing most of this for us and keeping us on track as our multimedia director. Our website's one way to get a hold of us. We've got the electronic signs throughout the community where we try to push messaging forward to our residents who are moving throughout the area and our businesses in the area as well. We recently, within the last year or so, put in the code red reverse 911 system so that police and fire and service, if we have any kind of issue or incident, emergency, non-emergency impact, we're talking about construction projects and things like that, we can push that out to residents and businesses in that area. So if you're in Miami Township, please go ahead and look on our website to get more information about the Code Red system so we can push some information your way about what we're doing. And we're hiring. And I tell you this self-servingly because I am not a township administrator. I am a fire chief. But I would like to work for one of you or somebody that you know that is qualified to be a township administrator, as many of us would in this room right now. So we do currently have a vacancy after Mr. Wright went on to a different jurisdiction last year. But we also are hiring an executive assistant position as well. So we have some movement on the administrative side that we need to fill up for the township. But both in the police department and in fire and EMS, as I mentioned before, we're always looking for new qualified candidates that are willing to take on a public safety career. So I know many of you in the business community are struggling to get folks to work for you as well. If you can take that number and maybe even peel it down a little bit more because of the requirements for certifications and the complexity of the types of jobs that we do, we're just not seeing a whole lot of young folks that want to go and try to dedicate themselves to even 10 or 15 years in a public safety career. So we're working with new people on getting their certifications and trying to teach them how to get into school and help them through school. So if you know anybody, all of this information is posted on our website. We'll be more than happy to talk to anyone or answer any questions. That's everything that I've got for you. My contact information is there at the bottom. That's my cell phone, and my wife is used to it going off 24/7 in the current job that I do. I do not bail people out of jail, but if you want to give me a call and ask me any questions, I am more than happy to talk to you about anything going on in Miami Township. Thank you very much.
Great, great. Nice job.
Are you sure you want to fight fires? Because we're good at this. We'd love to, yeah.
Thank you.
A couple announcements is, before we let you go, and thank you so much. I don't think you guys get thanked enough. I know that you get all the complaints and the problems and all of that, so if we could just give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. And thank you for your time. It's just another thing they have to do is put these presentations together, so very appreciative, as you know. We've got some things coming up here at the chamber. The Valentine ladies that were mentioned, they are stamping cards as we speak at the post office. So if you'd like your Valentine to come from Loveland, Ohio, please go see them, and they will be there until the 12th throughout the day. And we're going to honor the Valentine ladies. This year's Valentine lady is Becky Giver. She's involved in so much, I thought that some of you may know her. So that's on February 9th at 8:30 a.m. at Oasis. It's a breakfast. It's a real feel-good event, so kind of like Christmas in Loveland. If you're not in the Valentine spirit by then, Hearts of Fire is happening that weekend as well, the 9th through the 11th. So we're all things Valentine's that weekend, so be sure to check out downtown Loveland and start off with the breakfast that morning. You won't want to miss Hearts of Fire. That's on my list too. Make sure I've got that in the 9th through the 11th. Did I miss anything there? You guys wanna add anything? Okay, ladies. It's on their website, everything that's going on, and there's just so much going on that weekend. So go to the city's website and, certainly social media as well. Watch for information on Symmes Township Bicentennial. We have two gentlemen, here, where are you? Oh, there you are, Jeff and Russ, and they have information on the bicentennial. We just met yesterday, so they get like 30 seconds to tell us all something about that, so we can get that going. It's gonna be a lot of fun, as Kim kinda told us.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So as it was, Kim went over, we have a number of events for the bicentennial for this coming year, 2024. Every month we have an event, so we have to work extra hard to prepare. Always looking for volunteers as well. But it's just a great investment for our community, not just in Symmes Township, but Loveland and the surrounding areas. So we hope a lot of people come out. It's all family-friendly events. We do have some material, but also on the website, on Symmes Township website, you can get some more information. And also looking for an investment from the community, maybe from business owners or other people who like to invest in sponsorships for this particular programs that we have throughout the year and different events. And we have material on sponsorship levels. This is sort of getting a good return on your money if you want to have your name visible, company name, all over the community. We'll have it every month, up to every month, you'll have their names out there and lights. So if you want to be involved in the community and do a good thing and have your company advertised, we're the guys that can help you with that. If you have any questions at all, we're sitting right there, Jeff and I. Thank you so much.
Yep, awesome. The chamber will be out involved in a couple of the events as well, so we're very excited to be part of their bicentennial. Last but not least, we have our business expo coming up. Great opportunity for all of you with business owners. We're very grateful to Time Savers. Doug Hearn is here. He's one of our main sponsors of that, and that is on, make sure I get the date, or March 7th. Is that right? Okay, I got the March 7th. It starts at 4 o'clock. Come on out. There is free food, and for the first 50 people, free beverage. That is at the Little Miami Brewery Event Center. It is in Milford. We've partnered with them, and it is a great way to get to know some of the businesses, what they do, network with them. And it's beautiful out there on usually early March, a little chilly, but it's beautiful. So please put that on your calendar. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming out today. Enjoy a little bit of sun while we have it, and have a great afternoon. Thanks.